What is going on? I hope you all are having a fantastic day. I know I am. The sun is shining, and we're heading to the gym to hit some shoulders. So I really don't see what I would have to complain about. And yeah, it's going to be pretty much similar to all the other shoulder days you've seen me do. We're starting with the rear delts, but we're going to switch things around a little bit. I'm feeling reverse pec deck at the beginning, and then face pulls. But of course, this is all determined by if the machines I want are available when I get there. It is a Saturday, so it's probably not going to be too busy, but you never know what can happen. But if something isn't open, we just adapt and move on and still have a great workout. No harm, no foul. In other news, the mini cut or health phase, whatever you want to call it, we hit a new low today. I don't really know if I want to release this information, but I am now below 200 pounds. And I don't know how to feel about this. I weighed in at 199.8, and I haven't been under 200. I don't even know. I don't even know. Sorry if you hear some extra noise. I got my windows cracked. I got my AC running. It's a bit hot outside, and I wore a crew neck. So I don't really want to be drenched by the time I get to the gym. But back to the topic at hand. Feeling good. Although I will say this is the second week in a row that I've dropped 4 pounds. No idea where that's coming from, but I feel good. I don't feel like I'm going to collapse and just not get back up, so that's good. But my food definitely digests a lot quicker. So right before I turned the camera on, I literally heated up my meal and threw it down in probably like 3 minutes. So it's a race against the clock to get to the gym before I get hungry, and then before the hunger starts settling in during the workout, which is okay, right? You know, there's nothing wrong with a little challenge, but I would still like to have good energy throughout the duration of my lift so I can push as hard as I can the entire time. Still gonna push as hard as I can the entire time no matter how I feel. But I think you understand what I'm saying. Pumps are still great. I can see the future, actually. And looking at it right now, the pump is gonna be freaking sick. It's gonna be really sick, okay? Now, you can't fast forward. I know some of you guys are a bit impatient when it comes to the gym, when it comes to these videos. I know they're long, but sometimes it's worth sitting down and listening to everything I have to say. But that's just me, right? If you don't want to listen to me, hey, that's okay. I don't mind. You just do what's best for you, man. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for right now. And I'll just see you guys at the gym. Jumping straight into today's shoulder workout, we are going to the pec deck to hit the rear delts. Still going with the rear delts first, just like I said last time. I really like it. It's a great way to not only build the rear delts if you are lacking in that department, but it's also just a good way to warm up your shoulders on top of whatever other warm-up you're already doing. Today's cues I used for myself was, instead of pushing my face into the bar, I almost was opening up my chest. I was thinking big chest and kind of rolling my shoulders back to focus on the rear delts, almost as if I was trying to pop them out in a back double bi. I think when it comes to bodybuilding and posing, you should definitely try to train the muscle in the position that you're going to be posing it, because in my opinion, if you're going to be posing a muscle and flexing it, you want it to look the best in that position. And this might not be true, but I think if you train in that specific area, if you understand what I'm trying to say, will develop it a lot better. May or may not be true, but these felt really good. Didn't go crazy heavy or anything. I actually couldn't really go higher than this. I think the weight I used last time was higher, but that's because I was pushing my chest into the pad, and I could get a little bit more leverage out of the machine. This way, I kind of had to rely more on the strength of my rear delts. Not that I think there was anything wrong with the way I was doing it before, but I think this is just a little bit better in terms of isolation, so I'm going to rock with them like this for now. Moving on to the face pulls. I really liked doing these right after the reverse pec deck, because with the reverse pec deck, it's a fixed implement, so you can kind of go heavier. And then with the face pulls, there's a little bit more stability, and I didn't really want to start with heavy face pulls because I wanted to focus more on control. So as you can see, we're pulling back with a little bit of speed, and then holding the pause almost like a back double bi, and then letting it slowly go out to the front. And then I think I felt that my range of motion was a little bit short, so I decided to kind of let my shoulders roll forward a little bit. And filming these videos has actually helped my form quite a bit, and I know there's still a lot of movements I need to improve on, and I try not to get too sciencey with my workouts, but I definitely think it's good to assess what you are doing and just trying to get the most out of a movement, but at the same time, there's definitely moments to go crazy. But with shoulders, when you're trying to bring something up, I think you want to match intensity with intent, and that's what we're doing here. And from this point on, it will just be trying to increase the reps with this weight, and then increasing the weight when we grow. But that's more for the off season when we're focusing on growth. Right now, we are just trying to maintain and improve. And that's the other thing, when you kind of get into a cut and you get frustrated that you're not growing, you kind of tend to get lazy sometimes with your training, or at least I do. I don't want to call anyone out. So I'm just taking this time to really just focus on my technique and think of things that I can carry over to improve when I do start my bulk back up. Anyway, moving on to the next movement, we're doing some dumbbell shoulder press. As you can see, the reps are kind of weird. What happened here was after the second set, I started talking to a buddy, and conversation went on for about 5 minutes, and I got a little cold, regained a little bit of my strength, and was able to eke out a few more reps. But I also just wanted to get the pump back. So after that third set, I did some front raises just to bring the pump back a little bit. But this also brought to mind when I do my heavier movements to rest a little bit longer. I sometimes tend to rest in the same way I would with like a lighter movement in the 12 to 15 rep range. But when you're going a little bit heavier, it's a little bit better to rest a little bit longer, closer to that 2-minute mark. But when I am cutting, I do like to work out a little bit faster to maintain the pump, because the pump, for me at least, tends to go away a lot quicker. But these did feel really good. I was able to get 4 sets. 4 sets of dumbbell shoulder press for me with the same weight during the cut is very good. So by all means, 80s are nothing crazy for me, but they felt really good. And moving on to a bilateral machine shoulder press. On this machine, the handles move individually from each other, so there is a little bit, not necessarily stability, but you kind of have to press evenly. You want to make sure that you're pressing in the same cadence on both sides. Definitely, the weight was a little bit too heavy for the first set, but nothing wrong with that. Just drop it down by about 30 pounds and then rep it out. Really like this machine. It allows me to hold my hands on the side of my head instead of the front of my head. I don't really like barbell shoulder press just because your chin does get in the way. With the exception of Smith machine, because the Smith machine is just awesome. But this machine is great. Also, started talking to another buddy, so reps went up again. But then for the final set, it made me realize maybe I should rest longer and I can get a few more reps out of the movements. So learning and lifting at the same time. Definitely don't want to think that I know everything, because I don't. But there was no drop sets in today's lift either. Just wasn't feeling them. Was just feeling the straight sets. I was getting a really good pump. I didn't necessarily feel like I had to blast extra volume. And I had a pretty long work week. And on top of that, I noticed I had trained 8 days in a row. So I actually took a rest day yesterday, as of recording this, to recover and felt a lot better. But I didn't want to go too crazy, so I would have to take another rest day tomorrow. But we're moving on to some cable side raises. We're just blasting through all of the sets here. I did 5 in total on the cables. Felt really good. Nothing crazy, just trying to lift from the shoulder, not from the hands. And then we moved on to some seated dumbbell side raises, cutting through all 3 sets here. Just a good way to finish off the side delts to get a nasty shoulder pump at the end of my workout. And as you can see here, just going through the final set, and then when these are all done, I will see you in the posing room. All right, we're done with shoulders. We're about to check out the pump. Now, I know I said I was a fortune teller, but I did not foresee that I was going to get caught up in some conversations. So the reps look a little weird in this lift because I was getting cold. But you know what happens sometimes. I'll take it upon myself to cut off the conversations sooner. All jokes aside, it's good to have conversations sometimes, but you gotta know sometimes when you gotta push it and when you just gotta keep going. So anyway, I don't want this pump to keep fading away, so let's check it out. Yeah. Also, checking out some new angles. So if this works out, we'll keep doing it this way. If not, we'll go back to the old way. But you gotta try something new. See if it works. Oh yeah. Doesn't look like it went away too much. Whew. Get some rear delts in there. Let's turn the exposure down a little bit. Probably not too bad. Just for a little bit more of the freak factor, you know? Didn't even hit traps, and they're popping. Whew. All right, so that does it. You already know, finishing with calves and abs, and then I'll see you back in the car. Another workout completed. Definitely a good one, although I will say, got caught up in some conversations with the boys, man. And nothing wrong with that. I love catching up with my homies at the gym. I don't want anyone to ever think that they can't come up to me and, you know, have a little chit chat, you know? It's good every now and then in between some sets. But I will say, sometimes it can take away from your workout, and you can lose the pump a little bit and get cold, especially since I'm in a mini cut. That's going to happen. You know, the pump doesn't linger for as long. You're not full of as many carbs. So, moving forward, I need to make sure that I keep focus on my lift, you know. And I definitely, I prolong conversations. I love talking. I talk to my camera. No one's even here. And I just turn it on and I start talking. So, I'm not blaming anyone, but the workout was still really good. Still pushed myself. The reps looked kind of wonky. Some sets, like the next set went down, and then like the third set, the reps went up again. And I was definitely trying to bring my pump back. The fatigue came down a little bit, and you know, it's good sometimes to rest a little bit longer in between sets, so that you can maintain that level of strength. But the way I like to work out or train when I'm sorry about the tripod. The way I like to train when I'm cutting or in a health phase, I keep flip-flopping between the two, but you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys will auto-correct me. Is I like to move, right? Just keep it going, stay hot. Super quick workout. I think my main lift was like 30 minutes. And that's just to keep the blood flowing. That's to maintain the pump, keep up the intensity, maybe burn a few extra calories. We're just trying to maintain the muscle. So I like to do that by keeping the best pump that I can. And the pump doesn't stay for very long after the workout either. So if you're in a cutting phase, it's really easy to get excited, like when you take your shirt off and you can see your abs and, you know, you're looking good, you're looking lean, but you put your shirt back on and you're kind of swimming in it a little bit. The pump goes away, you feel deflated, and then you're like, the voices, man, they come back. They're like, maybe you should resume the bulk. Don't listen to those voices, man. Stay strong. You're supposed to get flat. When you're flat, that's when you're burning fat. And the whole point of the cutting, it's more mental, right? We can all go to the gym and train super hard. We can all eat a ton of food, unless like eating's the hard part for you, right? But we can all eat the food. We can all train really hard. But it's that mental grind of being flat, low energy. Pumps aren't as good when you're not full of carbs. And that's just the way it is, man. It's once you've been in the game for longer, like for a while, it becomes more mental than physical. You've already proved to yourself that you can push yourself. And you know, there's definitely challenges to growing, for sure. It's definitely hard to grow. But for me, it's a lot harder to cut weight. I get discouraged sometimes. But you just got to remember to stick to the plan, trust the process, and you'll end up going where you're going to go. For me, I like to utilize a cheat meal every Saturday or Sunday. And then that way it kind of gives me a mental reset, you know, to have a nice little relaxing night with my wife. And then the next day, the workout is always insane. And sometimes the day after, too. But I used to go crazy. I'm kind of over that. It's not good to binge, because then you hold a lot of water for the next few days and you look puffy and you just kind of feel sluggish. And for me, I'm the kind of person where if I go overboard, then I just crave it for the next couple of days, and it makes sticking to my meal plan a lot harder. So you just got to learn yourself. Definitely did not learn all this stuff about myself in one night. It has been a constant journey. I'm still learning how to work out, dude. Like, I literally do a set and I'm like, man, that felt really good. And then I go back and watch the footage and I'm like, man, my form was shit. Where I need people coming up to me in the gym being like, what are you doing, man? Have you looked at your form lately? So make sure that you are assessing your own performance. If you really want to grow, and ask people that are better than you how they got to where they are, and don't ask them like, what's your split, bro? Like, oftentimes it's not necessarily the split that's why. You gotta think hard about your questions. So with that being said, I gotta run into the store and get some goodies for this cheat meal, and my tripod is kind of failing, so I think that's a sign. Anyway, you guys are awesome. You guys have a great day. I know I will. Have a great workout. Crush the gym. Hit your meals. Stick to your plan. Love your mom. Have a nice day.